Hey guys, I hope you're doing amazing today. My name is Timothy. I just want to share something with you again about intimacy with the Lord. You know, one of the most important things, the most valued things that we have is that fellowship, that relationship, that covenant intimacy that we can have with Him. In the last video, I was talking about being able to lay everything down, being able to press through the crowd, through all of the things that try to crowd our mind, our soul, our spirit, our imagination, just every single thing that would try to keep us from having an intimate time with the Lord, just being in His presence, just want to be with you. You know, one of the most beautiful stories that we have in the Bible about this particular thing is Mary Magdalene. You know, when she came and she wiped Jesus' feet with her tears, such an intimate act of worship. And from what we understand about her and her lifestyle, she would have had to press through a lot of things. And then that last video I mentioned, you know, being able to lay aside the sin that easily besets us. And I think that's exactly what she had the ability to do right there, you know? She recognized where she came from in life and what Jesus meant to her, even though where she came from and what had happened in her life and where she was. She recognized who He was and what He meant to her, and she was able to lay aside everything. It didn't matter to her about the opinions of the other people in the room. I had this amazing dream one time, man, and in the dream, there was this lady who had come up to worship at the altar, and she was just, man, she was laying her heart down. Her heart was being poured out to the Lord. And there was some religious folk in the room that knew her lifestyle and where she was, and they wanted her to leave the altar. They wanted to push her out and push her away. In the dream, I just remember being like, whoa, that is way wrong, because her heart was in a more pure place than anybody in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Because she recognized it was like the story where Jesus is telling about the Pharisee who comes up to the altar and he's like, I've done all of these awesome things and I'm good. But then the other man is beating his chest, going, look, God, I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I make mistakes. I know where I am. And he's just crying out to God, saying, but it's basically saying, I know that I need you and that you are God. I want you in my life intimately. And that's what this woman was doing. And she was just pouring her heart out to God. And I want to encourage you, man, in being able to lay aside every sin and the weight that easily besets us, that you can come unto Jesus. And I'm telling you, it's in those moments of purity and in pure worship like that, that the goodness of God begins to resound within your being. And it's the goodness, it's the kindness of God that brings people to repentance. It creates this desire in you to do whatever it takes to please, to be with God, to please Him, to be in a position where you're walking out your righteousness. And it's in that goodness and worship that everything in our being begins to line up with who we are in identity with Christ and who He has made us to be. And we desire even more and greater to walk that out, man. So pure worship that boldly comes to the throne of grace so that we can find grace and mercy in a time of need. Be blessed, y'all.